Okay, okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. So before we proceed, first the call would not. So today we're supposed to take product vision, strategy, OKRO, and then road mapping. But I'm not sure I'm able to cover the those four modules. But we'll likely do product vision and strategy, and hopefully within the week or maybe by weekend, we'll merge OKRO and road mapping alongside with the other things that we'll likely be looking at. That's if I'll be taking the call or maybe Fumi or whichever of us. Right. So the reason for that is let me just skip ahead is because I have a meeting like an hour, 30 minutes or less. So but this call just has to happen because I found out that the class has been overstretched. So that's why. And then secondly, I want to get like a general feedback on the class so far before we proceed. Like, just give me your feedback, what you think about the class, how have it been. I don't want black letter word. I think I'd prefer details, not just it's fine, it's good. So has been just give me general feedback. What do you think we can improve upon? And then just on your instructor generally, just if you could just unmute your mic and speak, or I'll start calling your names one at a time. Okay, actually nobody wants to speak, so I'll start with Adeno Olaoluwa Kemi. Sorry, your name is on the top of the list. So would you mind sharing your feedback? Just let me know your thoughts. How's it been so far? I know there have been glitches here and there for particularly this particular class, this product management class. But yeah, we're trying to fix a lot of things as we are proceeding. But yeah, let me hear your feedback so far.
Okay, all right. Good evening again, once again. So for me, honestly, the class has really been impactful because when I started this class, I thought it's something I will not be able to push through. It's something I will not be able to do. And at some point, I didn't even attend to all the assignment because I feel like it's something I can't do. Like it's going to stress me too much, coupled with what I'm into currently. But then I give it a second thought that I could actually do it if I really want to do it. And ever since I started, honestly, it's been amazing and great. The fact that I also have a friend here that is pushing me to just put in my best and all of that. The class has really been impactful. The facilitators, they are doing an amazing job. I mean, they take their time to explain things to us. They take their time to ask us if we understand or not. And I must say, this is one of the online courses, I mean, online courses that I would take that I know that it is really, really engaging and all of that. So I want to say thank you very much for this great privilege. God bless you.
All right, thank you for sharing. I would excuse Akiyemi because she just joined and the girl has not been speaking unless you can speak now. So I would get to you. I would like to hear from Mike, MK. When you catch you, Mike, do you want to give us just your general feedback on the class so far? Mike, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah. So I was asking,
Good
just
evening, sir.
share
Good
with
evening,
us.
everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Michael Nikachi, and so far, so good. Honestly, I have gotten to get a detailed understanding of how product process in life, product life cycle. Based on the questions most of us are doing classes, it also gives me more clarity as to communication with the product owner, the product manager, and the product designer, and then the developers. So far, it has been good. It has honestly been good. I am basically looking forward to the boot camp where everybody will come together and we have hands-on experience. And I'm also looking forward to what is left, what is the remaining um the remaining cake that is going to be served to us. Looking forward to that, and I trust. it's going to be as impactful as always. Thank you.
All right, thanks for sharing. Sunday, Eniola, do you mind sharing yours? Sunday, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm there. I'm actually on the road. I'm heading to the shop. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yes, in the next 2 minutes I will talk. The place is a little bit noisy.
All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Victor Uzoma, do you want to share? Hi, Victor, can you hear me? Okay. So Akinyemi Musumola, good evening. Can you hear me? Please, am I being heard? Just to be clear, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, it's fine. So I see that others don't want to talk, but well, I will still get to come again. If you're me to ask me any question, you first answer my question first. Yeah. So sorry, there's a bit of noise on my background because there's a mosque just beside me, not too far from me. That's going to praying. So please, pardon the noise. Okay, yeah. So product vision. We're talking about product vision and product strategy. If time permits, we'll just look at OKR and road mapping, product road mapping. Most of them must have been hearing roadmaps and all. And then, sorry, please 1 second. Okay, so what was I saying now? So I was saying that most of them must have been hearing roadmaps and product backlogs and all of that. Yeah, we'd look at it. It's part of what we would look at on this particular module. Look at OKR, which is objectives and key results. Look at product vision and product strategy. As if time permits us, we will look at everything today. If not, we'll push on to our next meeting. Yeah. Well, so basically, just crafting a compelling product vision, how product vision, how to create product vision that aligns with business strategy and user needs. Vision versus strategy, part of what we look at, differentiating the both of them. Look at OKR, how to define OKR, using OKR to set product goal and measure an actual success of a product. So that for as you begin to build, as you begin to scale, you want to measure, you want to have data, you want to work with data. That's majorly what OKR would help you do. You want to measure data as it begins to grow, and how you want to align OKR with business strategy and product vision. So we also talk about the product roadmap. So we look at outcome-based and feature-based roadmaps. We look at best practice in creating a dynamic and living roadmaps. And then we'll look at prioritization techniques. So we'll look at RISE, we'll look at ICE, we'll look at a couple of them, and then at the end of this module, you have like a hands-on activity. Right, so yeah, let's run some. So crafting a compelling product vision. So first, what's product vision? That's typically what the first question would be. Right. In simple terminology, it's a product vision is a high level. Please, at any point you stop hearing me, please signify so I know that I'm not lost in communication. So a product vision is a high level aspirational statement that defines a long-term goal and purpose of a product. It serves as a guiding north star for teams, ensuring alignment with business objectives, user needs, and market opportunities. A strong product vision is inspirational, clear, and future focused, providing direction for product development and decision making. Now, what this statement means is that you know how typically they would say, as a person, you should have a vision for your life, as a couple, you should have a vision for your family. Even as a church, for most of us are Christians, right? They will say there's a vision statement. So if you go to a typical business, what you hear things like the vision of the business, a vision statement. Now, this vision statement is what drives the entire organization. It's what the entire organization is working towards, right? I don't know if there's any Muslim here, so I'm being careful with the words I want to use. But typically, you would hear at on the long run, what are we working towards? Now, they would say for every business, one of the key objective is to solve problem and make money in the process, right? So in achieving that for that's the baseline for every business. There are there's a way you want to achieve that. So typically visions are inspirational. Inspirational because it needs to pull people to want to do things, right? We'll get to see a couple of a fair example of inspirational visions later in the slides. So it has to be clear that everybody that joins the organization needs to know what the vision is. So people don't want to read the vision statement and then they're not able to explain to somebody else. So you want to be able to explain what we are doing in this organization. So as a product a manager or a product owner, you want to be sure that whatever the organizational vision is clear enough for everybody in your team to run with, right? You must have learned who a product manager is and all of that at the beginning part of the whole conversation on this track. Right? You will notice one thing when you start working with team, it will feel like you're the manager of the entire team. I mean, that's not entirely the case because um okay, let me not talk about that so much so that I won't get us debated. But yeah, but it's one of your core focus to be sure that you help the business to craft a product vision that is clear, that every team member, everybody in the team understand what we are trying to do here. And they need to be future focused. Future focused because it's long term. So vision is not something you want to do tomorrow. It's not something you want to do next tomorrow, right? It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be over 10 years. So it's something that you work on over time. So that's why we say it's future focus, right? So it provides direction for product development and decision making. Now, if we know that this is what we are working towards, whatever short-term decision we are making, our long-term vision would influence whatever short-term decision we are making. We'll actually talk about that more. Right. So that's why product vision is very important for every product team, for every organization. Now, an example of a product vision statement would be to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. This is the vision of Microsoft. So everybody that joins Microsoft together, in whatever team you're working with, you know that what we are trying to do here at Microsoft is to empower every person or organization on the planet to achieve more. This is not something you achieve tomorrow or next week or New Year, according as people would like to do New Year resolution. It's not something you would do in two years. It could take you 10 years, it could take you 20 years to achieve, right? So that's why you will see that Microsoft is pumping resources more in different direction in different part of the world, particularly in Africa and some part of Asia, right? Middle East and Asia, because this is one of the things they are aiming to achieve. So if you join Microsoft today as a product manager in Microsoft, so can anyone person see my slides? Hello, can anybody see my slides? Can you guys see my slide?
No, I can't
Yes,
see
sir. I
anything.
can see your slide.
I can't see your slide, sir.
I can't see your slide.
I can see your slides.
Okay, for those of you that can't see my slide, is it possible to drop and rejoin?
Okay, sir.
I'll just hold up for some few seconds. Please confirm once you can see my slide.
Yes, I can see the slide now.
Okay, can everyone see my slide now? I need to be sure that everyone can see my slide. Okay, so I can go ahead. Um, where was I now? So yeah, so as I was saying that for everybody that joins Microsoft today, you're sure you know what we're trying to achieve here. Now you could join Microsoft team. You could be working on maybe the team that is building a particular, maybe that team that's working on course or something, right? The team that's working on maybe the GUI, or you could, because Microsoft is huge, is large. Different teams are working on different aspects of the company. However, this is what we are trying to achieve generally as a business. So, in whatever decision you're making, part of what would influence is what we are trying to achieve as an organization. So that's why a product vision is very important. Why is it necessary to have a product vision in a business? It provides clear direction. Now, a well-defined vision ensures that everyone, which is the teams, stakeholder, and including the investors, understand the ultimate goal of the product. Right? If you, I mean, there have been the wave of fintechs in Africa, in Nigeria particularly, where everybody will say we're trying to bank the unbanked. I don't know if you guys were following the story as a then. Maybe for now it has reduced a little, but prior to this time, you keep hearing trying to bank the unbanked, right? So it's even easier to sell that to an investor. This is what we're trying to achieve. Now, anybody that joins the team understand that this is what we're trying to achieve. Now, for that reason, whatever we are building, even as a PM, what as you're crafting your document, you're creating your user story, your user journey, the vision of the organization of the product helps you understand the decision that you need to make. Now, when you hand over product documentation to the design team or to the engineering team, either the front end or whatever team you're handing over to the marketing team, everybody understand what we're trying to achieve. And as they also make decisions, it brings them back to the question of, okay, does this align to the vision that we're trying to achieve, or to the direction we are taking? So that's why your your vision is to be clear, very important. You see that word clear? I do not need to read it and start trying to explain it to my own understanding. It should be as clear as anybody that reads it gets the basic understanding, right? So that's that's why one of the reasons why it's necessary. It also prevents misalignment and random feature development that does not serve the user needs or business purpose. Now, one of the things that you would notice, right? One of the things that you would notice is we call it scope creep, right? That's for general product development. We call it scope creep. If you start working for startups, particularly startups, you would notice one thing that today you guys are heading in a particular direction. Tomorrow, the CEO will just sleep, wake up from his sleep, and then have a new idea, and then he would just come and say, okay, let's work on it this way, or let's do this, let's add this. Tomorrow, an engineer can you guys can hire a new engineer that comes from maybe a different background, and then he's coming with a a fresh idea which is very good, but that is misaligning with what we're trying to achieve as a product and as a business. Now, that's why you need to craft this product strategy and product vision from the onset. So anybody that comes into the mix, they understand where we are headed. Now, whatever idea you're bringing could help us get there faster, not deviate us from where we are headed. So I don't know if that's clear. So another reason why it is very important is it inspires and motivates team. Now, a strong vision unites team around a shared purpose. It keeps team engaged and motivated even during setback. As a PM that you eventually become, there are many times you have setback. There will be many setbacks. Now, one of the things that will keep inspiring you is the vision of the product. Now, when you start seeing um, some droplets of realization of those vision, it keeps you motivated even more. So you're trying, for example, you're building a health tech product. You're trying to make healthcare accessible to people in the rural area. Now, you might hit some roadblocks, right? Many of the time, maybe compliance issues, maybe integration with third party, maybe even some engineering constraints. You will definitely hit certain roadblocks. But when you look at the vision, because it is clear, it's aspirational, and then you're also privileged to have maybe carried out research, spoken with a few persons, you know what you're trying to achieve. It helps you, it keeps you motivated, it even keeps the entire team motivated. Now, I think I was reading a post somewhere where somebody said that it gave him a different kind of joy when he saw the product that he built being used by a real user. There's a feeling you get when you see the impact that part of your product is making in the life of real users. So that's one thing that keeps people motivated. So if you get a clear product vision, it makes it easier for anybody to understand. Anybody that comes on board knows what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. When there are roadblocks, it also keeps people in check, informed, and united. It also guides decision making. Now, um, a good vision helps in prioritizing future and strategies that aligns with long-term goals, prevents short-term thinking that could harm the product success. We'll talk about product strategy shortly. Talk about product strategy shortly. However, like I mentioned earlier, um, when we know where we're directed, just like saying okay, I'm currently in Lagos, and I want to travel to Abuja, right? Abuja is like an hour 10 to 15 minutes flight. By road, I think it's around 12 to 14 hours. I don't know, somewhat around that. Now, if I let me assume I'm going by road, now because I know that. Sorry, guys, please give me a minute. So like I was saying, so if I'm going by road, right, because I know where I'm headed, I those short-term decisions would not have an influence over my direction. So I will not wake up tomorrow and say it's going to be headed to Lagos Ibadan, where I would navigate to maybe Osun, and then I don't even know the direction. All right, but I would not wake up and start heading somewhere else. That's one thing that vision would help you achieve. It keeps you focused. Now you would make short-term decision definitely, but you don't make the ones that would harm the product success at the end of the day, right? So it's not like you don't make short-term decision at all. There'll be many times where you make short-term decision. I can bet you that sometimes maybe engineering decisions and integration options, you will definitely make short-term decision, but understanding the product roadmap better helps you not to make short-term decisions that will eventually have a negative impact on the product that you're trying to achieve, that you're trying to build. Now, it also helps in market positioning. Now, a clear vision differentiates a business from its competitor, ensure that the product solves real user needs and in a meaningful way. Now, for every product, like I would say, there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, you could be building it first for the first time in that space, or give it time to get other players that are coming. Right? But the vision that you have for the product is what distinct you from other competitors. Um, Today in the market, in the EV market, that's electric vehicles. There are many players in the electric vehicle space, but the vision of Tesla keeps it distinct among its competitors. Right? That's one thing that product vision happens. It even helps customers to even understand what you're even trying to achieve better, which they can also relate to. So it also attracts investors and customers. I think I already mentioned that investors are more likely to fund products with a compelling and clear vision. Customers are drawn to brands that have a strong purpose-driven vision, like Nike, for example. Strong one, just do it. I like it. So, um, An example and case study of strong product vision. Tesla, I just mentioned Tesla. To Tesla's vision statement is to create the most compelling car company, to create the most compelling car company of the 21st century by driving the world's transition to electric vehicle. Very clear, aspirational, and future focused. So how it helped. So Tesla's vision positioned it as a leader in the electric mobility. In the electric mobility. Sorry, please give me a second. So sorry about so how it helped now, like I mentioned, I was saying Tesla's vision positioned it as a leader in the electric mobility, influencing every decision from designing energy efficient vehicles to investing in battery technology and self-driving system. Now today, just Tesla is trying to test their self-driving cars. I mean, there are a few of them out there in some spaces in the market, but it's not widely accepted yet. Right? But because of its vision to lead the world into the transition of into electric vehicle, it is influencing every decision that Elon is leading the company to make today, right? So for Airbnb to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, community. Now, because this is what Airbnb, because this is what Airbnb is trying to is trying to provide for every decision that they are making, it is also influenced by it. Now, how it helped, Airbnb vision helped transform hospitality, focusing on community-driven travel experience rather than just booking accommodations. Right. So prior to Airbnb, you want to use maybe hotels.com and the likes to just book accommodation, to just book hotels. Like even when Airbnb started, people really share their houses, right? It's like having a stranger come to live in your house. It wasn't really a thing, but when Airbnb came, it's not just about booking, it's home away from home. It's a community experience. So for everyone that joins Airbnb as an employee or um or an investor, they understand what Airbnb is trying to achieve, building communities. Like so it also influence so many decisions that they're making. Even when investors are pressing on for certain decision, when they get to understand clearly where the company is headed, it also helps them position their own suggestive ideas to the management. Now, how to create a product vision that aligns with business strategy and user needs. One, you want to identify the problem. Now, I believe that we've talked about problem thinking, problem statement earlier before now, right? Um, as your you don't just want to create a to just start writing any random vision, right? You want to be sure that it is addressing a particular need, not just any need, because it could be your need, right? It's addressing your user's need. Very important. Now, we want to ask the question: what user problem are you solving, right? For Airbnb, like we saw earlier, they're solving the problem of community, like that feeling that you have even when you're out of the house or away from a private space. Right. So you want to be sure that it ensures that the product vision is grounded in real user challenge. An example of that would be people struggle to find affordable last minute flights. So why does it align? A great product vision must address a pain point that users face. Right? Now, this is a typical pain point. Right? If you travel very often, you would know this. Right? To find an affordable usually last minute flight are usually expensive, right? Because the flight is scheduled for the next 2 3 hours. Booking, checking ends by editing and an hour before the flight. Right? So usually it's very expensive. Now this is a real pain point. Just give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. Where was I now? So, two, define the long-term goal. Right? Setting a 5 to 10 years 10-year success goal ensure the vision isn't just short-term, but strategically positioned for growth. Right now, when the vision is long-term, which is why I said earlier that product vision needs to be long-term, 5, 10, 15 years, right? It it strategically position the product for growth. Very important. An example of that would be to be the world's most efficient flight booking platform, assuming we are building a flight booking system, right? Now this statement, as small as it is not something that could be achieved that could be achieved in 2 years time or in 3 years time. It's something that will take a long time before we hit this mark. But however, it's feasible. Right? So it keeps everybody in check. Now, why this aligns? Long-term thinking ensures the vision scale with the business and remains relevant. So as the business is growing, the vision is scaled with the business, which is very important. So you don't want to craft a vision where after a period in time, it now starts feeling like you've outgrown the vision, right? So it wants to stay relevant even as a business scale, because definitely business will scale unless it's shut down. I mean, they've done product life cycle, so we found that better. Now, aligns with business goal, connecting the vision to a company's objective ensures the product drives revenue and growth. And as we create, now every business has its own objective. The CEO, the founders of every product or every business, they have their objective, why they're funding. However, as we are helping to craft a product vision, we want to make sure that the product we are crafting aligns with what the business objective is. Or the company objective. So you're not using a team to build product A. Meanwhile, the company is going to you're building a team to build a product going to direction A. Meanwhile, the company is going to direction Y. Right. So you need to make sure that everything aligns. So that way everybody's in sync, stakeholders and the team inclusive. Now, an example of this will be increased airline partnership and revenue for direct bookings. Now, like I mentioned when we started this conversation, one of the objectives for every business is revenue. It's very important, revenue. But no matter what we are doing, revenue has to come in for the business to be sustainable, right? And increase airline partnership and revenue for direct booking. Now, don't forget that we want to make we are earlier saying we want to because okay, what's it? See, people struggle to find affordable last minute booking, right? So we want to be the world's most efficient flight booking system. Right now, we're trying to align with business goals. So we want to increase airline partnership and then revenue from direct booking, which is very important. A strong product vision must support business sustainability and expansion. Now, as the business is expanding and the stakeholders are trying to make the business a sustainable one before the decline phase. Right? We want to be sure that the product vision is aligning with whatever the business is doing. And the fourth one would be make it inspiring. Sure, the product vision is concise, motivational, and easy to understand. Make it resonate with team, stakeholders, and users. I think I mentioned it earlier. The vision should be concise, as simple and easy as possible. That anybody that don't understand what we are doing here, right? If a new team member joins, they know where we are, they know what we're doing. If, if somebody's added to the leadership or to the board or the leadership team, so we just become our stakeholders or even our users, they understand what we're trying to achieve. So we're helping travelers explore the world effortlessly. Right? See how clear and concise that is. Why this aligns is because an inspiring vision helps teams stay motivated and aligned towards a common goal. Now, I think I already explained this earlier. So final checklist. Does the product vision have these qualities? Is it clear? These are things that you want to ask yourself when you start your product vision. Talk. Can you see him? Oh my. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir. I
Can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. All right. Sorry, my network kicked me out. So I was saying now, these are part of the checklist that you could use when you casting your product vision. I want to ask yourself, is it clear enough? Is it is it understand by everyone? You still have user, even the those right? Is it inspiring? Is it motivating users stakeholders? Is it future oriented? Sorry, so my network is also making it. Is it future oriented? Um, does it just look ahead of 5, 10 years time? Is it user centric? User centric one of the user centric. What are they doing? I think that people that must have been emphasizing it is very important. Oh, really problem because it's it's future oriented. It's not user centric. And it's flexible for business growth, right? So in conclusion, a strong product vision sets the foundation for product success. It ensures that lines, decisions, and product make meaningful impact. Um, so any questions so far, or any thoughts, or any more clarity on before we proceed? You could type on the box if you're able to speak. If you speak, you can. I can make question. Okay, but can anyone see me? Just to be clear.
I can hear you, sir.
Oh my, this is my network. Can anyone hear me? Well, please give me a moment. I think my network is fluctuating. Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Confirm you can hear me and you can see my screen. Okay, okay. Right. So I believe um, what is product strategy? That's typically what the first thing you want to ask. So strategy is a, like mentioned, there is a high level plan or approach designed to achieve the long term goal objective and in making decisions about how to get resources, address challenges, and differentiate from competitors. The well-crafted strategy provides a roadmap for decision making, ensuring that every action aligns with over, over, over vision. Now, in plain English, or in product strategy meetings, it's just a way one uh, um, to 5, 10 years. The strategy is how you want to achieve that. So why product vision is what strategy is how. Now, how do you want to achieve a vision? So we see one come want to help to ease people to fly easily or now now. Um, good afternoon, the word How do you that strategy really happen to you? Like it will strategy is very so so we have different kinds of strategy. Guys, my can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I don't know if I'm the only one.
I can hear you
Okay,
too,
okay,
sir.
okay. Sorry, my network is
Can hear
I'm
you.
trying to switch my internet, it's really fluctuating. So I was saying that there are different
Can
types
hear
of
you too.
right, thank you. So I was saying there are different types of strategy. There's business strategy, right? So business strategy is a high-level plan that outlines how an organization will compete in the market, achieve growth, and sustain competitive advantage by aligning all these resources towards our business goal. Oh my. So let me share my screen again. I think it just stopped sharing. Please give me a second. Let me try and fix my internet. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So okay. Okay. Oh my. So like I was saying, so we have different kinds of business. We have different kinds of strategy. So there is business strategy that is just how an organization will compete in the market. So right, for every business, there need to be a strategy of achieving its vision, right? So Tesla strategy now as a business is that they are focused on innovation and electric vehicle, EVs, EV technology and battery technology, right? So for that now, it wants to invest in infrastructure such as charging networks, right? So Tesla started investing in charging networks because they understand that by the time they pull out their EV cars, their EVs, right? People will know people that buy their EV will need where to charge it. Right? So they started investing in charging stations, charging networks, smooth charging stations, and all. And then they are using a premium branding approach to create a strong market presence. So the outcome of that is Tesla. Someone is 1 minute. Victor, do you mind muting your mic, please? Okay, thank you. So the outcome of that is Tesla has disrupted the automotive industry, and established itself as a leader in a sustainable transportation. Right. By just having the right strategy in place, it has helped It helped Tesla to disrupt the automotive industry, right? And then today, if you talk about EV, you see Tesla as one of the leaders, if not the leader in the EV market, right? So the second one now, which is where we would most likely will focus more on, is the product strategy, right? So it's a focused plan that defines how a specific product will meet customers' needs, differentiate itself, and drive business outcome by detailing product feature, positioning, and roadmap for development, right? So for a product that we are currently working on or will be working on, I believe we are working on already, right? We want to define our strategy. So how do we want to position ourselves in the market, right? How do we want to, what are the features that that set us apart, right? Which is at the end of the day part of what we are trying to achieve in the long run, which is our product vision. And so if we say we want to provide healthcare for people in the rural area, or want to make logistics as easy as what's the word now? What's the comparison I want to use now? Or you want to make logistics easier or you want to make organic food easy or you want to improve healthy eating, for example. So what do I need to put in place, right? For finance, I want to make for healthcare, I want to make healthcare accessible for people in rural area. What are the features that my product needs to have to make that possible? Right. So that's part of what I want to focus on. Now, Spotify strategy, for example, says provide personalized music recommendation through advanced algorithm. Right. So and then for that now they expand into international market while continuously updating and improving user experience. So one of the things that Spotify did or are currently and are still currently doing and are still currently doing that is keeping them that is setting them apart or helping to achieve their product vision is that you see this freemium thing. If you start working in the B2B space, you do a lot about around freemium, right? Free and then premium. That's the meaning of freemium, right? And then premium models to capture wide range of users. And then one of the things that Spotify did recently, in about 2 years now or three, right, to help them expand into international markets. When they look at their data, they realize that um, their market in South America, if I'm not wrong now, and some part of major South America wasn't doing so well, and then they were trying to analyze how best to hit the market better, right? And then they had to go. I mean, they were working with data. That's one of the things that you get to learn in OKR, right? And then for most of us that want to become a data PM, you get to work with data more, or a growth PM, work with data more. And then they had to based on their data, make certain decisions as part of their strategy to expand to international markets. Now, one of those decisions was to partner with the best team in Spain, in South America, South America, North America, South America. One of the best team in South America, which happened to be in Spain, Football Club Barcelona. I'm sorry if you're not a Barca fan, but that happens to be the best team in Spain till today. Now they had to go become the leading sponsor for Barcelona. That's why you hear today Spotify Camp Nou. That alone helped them ease into the market without much stress. Now, it would cost a lot, right? But because this is strategies that we are using, we know that at the end of the day, it will help us break into the market easily. So it was even easier for them to even break into the Spanish market, which is a huge market. Right? And then from there, it was easier for them to now enter some other part of the region, like Brazil, Argentina, and the likes of them. Right. So the outcome, Spotify so far has become one of the leading music streaming platforms globally, consistently innovating to meet user needs. Right now, if you call top two chief streaming platform, top three streaming platform, Spotify is one of them. You call Apple Music, you call Spotify, you call YouTube Music, or whichever one. Right. So, but it's strategies that help them achieve that easily. Now, what are the difference, right? Which is- so what are the difference now? So, by definition, strategy is long-term and is an aspirational goal that define what the company or product wants to achieve in the future. Why? And that's sorry for vision. Why strategy is a plan of action. Remember, I said plan, short-term action that outlines how to achieve the vision through specific steps and resource allocation. Now why vision will focus on what do we want to become? Strategy will typically focus on how do we get there, right? Um, Vision would say we want to become the number one streaming platform in the world, right? For every user, I want to make music accessible to every user, to anybody anywhere, anywhere on the face of the earth, right? Strategy will say, okay, so how do we achieve that? How do we get there? What do we need to do now that will take us there gradually, right? So vision, like I said, would be typically for 5 to 10 years plus. Why strategy usually mid to short term, 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. 5 years is even overreaching. Usually 3 months, 6 months, 5 years. So when we start talking about go-to-market strategy, that's one of the strategies that you get to talk about. Go-to-market strategy. Now, in the next 3 months, what should we be doing as we plan to roll out our MVP? In the next 6 months, what is the next set of things that we'll be doing? Right. So as a PM, now don't forget that you work with cross-functional team, you work with team of designers, team of developers, team of data engineers, team of QA testers, you work with team of marketers. Now, when you start talking about GTMs, right, with the marketing team, you want to start drafting a strategy um for the vision you're trying to achieve, short term, mid term, and all. So the nature of vision is usually inspirational and then it's broad, it's usually blanket, very broad. But strategy is usually actionable and detailed. So for our MVP rollout, we are doing this, and this. We are doing campus store. We are doing we are doing what do you call it now? We are doing campus store. We are doing giveaways. We are partnering with micro influencers for our first 6 months. For the next 1 year, we want to start sponsoring events. Like so, these things are outlined, right? They are short term, they are mid term, right? And then an example of that would be for Amazon. Amazon vision is to be the world's most customer-centric company. Now, how do they intend to achieve that? By expanding their logistic network, offer faster deliveries, and develop AI-driven personalization to enhance customer experience. Right. So this is what they want to become, and this is how they want to achieve it. So vision typically is the what, while strategy is the how. Um, so how vision and strategy works together, right? So while vision sets direction, while strategy defines the path to get there, right? A strong vision ensures clarity, while a well-defined strategy ensures execution, right? Right. But this guy I once worked with, Anil Atma, I don't know if any of you knows him. He's always focused more on execution. He felt that execution is the key execution, right? So strategy is what ensures execution, right? Without vision, strategy becomes reactive. So you're just reacting to certain things, and it lacks purpose. Meanwhile, without strategy, vision remains an unachievable dream, just a dream. Right? So an example for Tesla is to create the most compelling car company of the 21st century by driving the world's transition to electric vehicles. Now, how do they intend to achieve that? They're investing heavily in battery innovation, right? If you're following Tesla news, you will know that they're investing heavily in battery innovation, right? And then they are expanding their charging infrastructure, and they are reducing manufacturing costs by making EV mainstream. Right? So it is their making EV mainstream. That's why you could see other competitors that are coming on board. Right? So how to align vision and strategy? Right? Define a clear vision, ensure it is inspiring, it is future oriented, and it aligns with the market. An example of that would be to make eating healthy accessible to everyone. Right now, this is inspiring. Everybody wants to be healthy, right? It is future oriented, and then it is clear enough, like we've been saying since morning. Right. And so you want to break the vision if vision into strategic pillars. So for an example would be you want to identify key areas. An example of that would be develop organic food, expand delivery services, and partner with local farmers. Now, if you look at this now, these are like steps that are like processes. So how do I want to achieve? I want to develop organic food. Now, if you are building an app, for example, for that, we want to develop a feature that helps you build organic recipe or organic menu, and then you want to start expanding your delivery services. So these are like processes that makes it work happen. Now, roadmap, which is what we'll talk about later, right? And we want to outline steps to execute the strategy over time. Now, when you start creating strategy, some of them will be something you would implement in the next 1 month. Some will be in the next 3 months. Some will be in the next 6 months. Now, roadmap helps you outline those things, those strategies, those steps, those processes over time. So an example would be year one, you want to launch flagship products, right? Like I was saying, in the next 4 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months to launch our MVP. Right. So, but yeah, say year one, you want to launch flagship products. But yet you want to expand into new region. Actually, they're saying by the next 3 months, you want to launch our MVP or 4 months into our MVP. In by the next 6 to 9 months, we want to have certain number of users within certain region. And then by the next 1 year, 12 months, we want to start having paying customers. Right. These are like roadmap. These are like broken down roadmap that so how do we now achieve? So now start building strategy within strategy, right? So to launch our MVP, what do we need to do, right? So that's like you know how they will say function of a function in mathematics. I don't start building strategy inside of strategy. Right? So another thing you want to do is to regularly evaluate and adapt because as time proceeds, market will change, things will happen. You want to ensure that strategy stays aligned with the vision and meet market changes, right? Um, User reaction could change over time. Let me give an example of that. Imagine you're building a product around crypto, for example, and then for one reason or the other, crypto begins to do poorly. There will be some market reaction. Now, if you were to onboard new set of users, because because the market is doing bad, right? It will put a stall on some very fragile people that might want to come into the market. Right now, as that is happening, as the market is changing, you also want to be sure that you are you're refining and evaluating the strategy to fit in to the market changes and also still stay aligned with product vision. So the final takeaway, right? The vision is the why, the ultimate purpose for the future, and the ultimate purpose and future goal. The strategy is the how, the plan to turn the vision into a reality, and then alignment is equal to success. A well-defined vision plus a clear strategy is equal to long term, right? So as you have your vision, you're building a strategy that stays aligned, so that it's equal to long term growth and impact. Right? So I um so there are a few questions and answers. Why do you believe it's important for a product to have a clear vision? Is it so I will send us this question later so we could just have a conversation around that maybe on Slack maybe later tonight or tomorrow. Um so I will just take any question. If anybody has any question before we call it a day. If you have any question, any clarity, any thought, any input before we call it a day. Then you can just unmute your mic and speak or maybe the question in the chat box. I'll just read it out and provide an answer. Does anyone has any question?
Good evening, sir.
It's really funny.
Yes, sir. My own question is with respect to vision. So, whenever you pick a vision for a particular product or business, and then it's not working, can you pick that vision again? Like, can it be changed? Maybe this is what I want to meet up with, and then I can't meet up with it, or maybe there is a failure along the line. Can I change that vision? Or maybe, for example, I want to be supplying pure to a particular region, and then I don't have the capacity, or each time I try, the I'm actually supplying the product, but I'm not making profit, and it's a challenge. Can I change maybe like location or change that particular business or product? I don't know if the question is clear.
Yeah, 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 it is. It's on the- So, so vision, right? I'm not sure I did mention that it's not something you you craft in a hurry, right? You take your time to create it.
Oh, okay,
However,
okay.
however, the strategy or the processes. Now, let me stop using this too much when in let me try and leave it as clean as possible. The processes to achieve that vision sometimes might differ. Like, so let me use that pure that you mentioned. So let's say we want to make clean water accessible to everybody, to people in rural area, for example. Now, now this will cost us money to achieve. So it's not like it's free. Right. Now, that's what the vision is. In some cases, right, like you had mentioned, they're trying to supply to a particular region, it feels like it's not working. So it is really not the vision that is the problem, it is the strategy. Now, um, in your career,
Okay.
sometimes you come across conversations like you can be providing the right product, you can have the right product or the right services, but to the wrong set of users. Right. So the vision itself is really not the problem. Sometimes or most of the time the strategy is where the problem is. The vision is the far-reaching goal. It's like the goal that we're trying to achieve, the long-term goal that we are aiming for. So the strategy is the plan is now how we want to achieve it. Like, so if you're trying to supply and then it's not working, it's really not the vision that is the problem. Problem is strategy. So what exactly is faulty here? Is it my pricing model? Is it that I'm trying to supply to the wrong sort of user? Or what exactly is the problem? So you now start evaluating your strategy. However, most times vision can be revised, but in a rare occasion, right, it's not something that happens very often, right? Um, because sometimes a company or a product can try to go to go a different direction from what they used to do before. I will give you a typical example that you could relate with. Um, um, let me give you two examples. Opay that you know today. When Opay came into Africa, into Nigeria, they didn't come in for to be doing transfers and all of that, right? Maybe that could have possibly been the end goal at the end of the day, right? But however, that wasn't what they were doing initially. They were doing car hailing and a couple of other things altogether, right? As market began to change, right? One of their major market was in Lagos. In fact, most of the other places that they were discounting their rights on in Nigeria, they could only do that because they were making enough money right here in Lagos, right? So as market began to change, they started redefining or refining most of their vision and most of their strategy, and then eventually tweak their vision a little, right? So when the Lagos State government banned bike, right, that was one of their major business. They couldn't compete successfully with the Uber and Bolt in the car hailing, right? So where they had a huge success was ride hailing. Now when all of those things began to happen, even in the food delivery, they couldn't compete so much, so they had to let go of those ones and now focus more on the finance part. Right, that was where they started narrowing down, building core infrastructure. Right, so they had to refine certain things over time. So it happens, but it doesn't happen all of the time. The second example I'll give you is money points. If you listen to Tosin, the CEO, say he started building infrastructure for banks, right? And then over time, things began to change. He then built, I think, Monify. Right? From Monify, he started seeing different problem. And then somehow, we got to where we are today, Money Point. And eventually, the entire company that was Team Apt was now rebranded to Money Point. And so over time, things could change, but it doesn't change easily, right? It changes over time. It can be refined, rather. It can be refined, right? Over time, but based on certain variables like market change, um, clarity, and all of that, it could change sometimes. So sometimes we could craft a vision with our limited sight or our limited view. like they will say, a man can only dream as far as he has been exposed to, or what he has been exposed to. Right? As you begin to gain more exposure, right, you can see that is this when we define this thing, it wasn't so we couldn't define with our limited lenses. I think now we see better. We could serve Africa. Initially we're thinking of just serving maybe just a Keja. But now we could serve the entire Nigeria. We can build the infrastructure for that. We could serve the entire Africa. So yeah, so that's what happens over time. It could always be fine, but it doesn't always come too often. What comes very often is strategy, right? You could have built a strategic plan for the next 3 months or 4 months, and then into the first month, market changes, or something happened, or there's a new policy. You could roll back, you could come back, roll back, and then redefine your strategy for the next 4 months going forward. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, sir, very well. I love where you started with. You say vision for concerning vision, one does not have to be in a hurry. That one alone answered what I was looking for.
All right,
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
thanks. So does anyone have any other question to ask, or someone that need clarity, or any other input you want to make? So I'll take the silence for a no, right? So I'll give one very small, simple assignment, right? So prior to this time, I want to believe that as you are learning, you are trying to put in practice what you're being taught over time, from the first time of the course of the class. Right? So if you have, which I believe you should have, right? So what I would say is, should I give it now or later? Okay, I think I'll just hold on to that. I was going to say, well, you could do it, but it will come in full maybe at the end of this particular module. I was going to say you should, based on your research, draft a product strategy for the product you're currently working on, and a product vision and a product strategy for the product you're currently working on. All right. So if you're from when this class started, you've been working on a particular product, maybe for a particular product that you've been working on, right? You could over time, for every module that you take, you're applying the knowledge, right? Once you get to this particular so I was going to say that you should draft the product vision and strategy for that product that you're working on. But if you have not, you have between now and by the time you're done with this particular module to do that, so that you could do the assignment, because the assignment is actually at the end of the slide, right? So I just wanted you to just start working on it. But if you have to start working on the product, just do that immediately. So that by the time you're doing the other assignment for roadmap and OKR, which will not be too cumbersome on you. So, but if you want to work on any product, start between now and maybe before the end of the week. All right. So we'll call it a day here. I have a meeting like in 7 minutes. So if you have any other question or anything that you want clarity on later, you could reach out to me via your class rep, and then we'll just keep in touch. So that being said, I think we have come to the end of today's conversation, and nobody has any questions. So once again, thank you for joining, and if you would have to meet before the end of the week, I'll let you know. But however, the class for Sunday still stands, and yeah, so do have a lovely night rest. Good night, guys.
Thank you, sir.